All right, one who refuses to seek advice of others will eventually lead to a path of ruin. A mentor helps you to perceive your own weaknesses and confront them with courage. Welcome to Democracy Radio. This is our live podcast, and today we have a special segment featuring distinguished fellows in training of the second cohort of the Mentorship Initiative. This groundbreaking initiative aims to foster leadership, collaboration, and knowledge transfer with legislative rank. Joining us today on this segment, we have the Honorable Speaker of the second LMI Parliament, Bernice Abeko. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
It's
you
good to
very
be
much.
here.
Also with me is the Majority Leader of the second LMI Parliament, Onyedika Ikebwako.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Honorable.
I'm happy to be here.
And I have the delectable Director of the LMI, Barrister Chimdi Niliako. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am Ben 200, half human, half amazing. And together we'll be taking a look at what the experience has been so far, what it looks like working and being trained, and what the future holds. I'll start off with you, Chimdi. How did this all start? What is the vision? What's the drive behind it? And what's the aim?
Thank you very much for having us. I would say that the LMI program began as a vision of the former speaker, the Speaker of the Ninth House of Representatives, current Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, CFR. He founded this initiative as a way of creating a platform for young people to learn, enhance their leadership skills, and begin their journey into the public sector, particularly to begin to develop as legislators in training. The initiative was actually launched on his 60th birthday last year as his gift to young Nigerians who aspire to be accomplished legislators like himself. When he had this idea, he discussed it with one of his special advisors at the time, who currently serves as the chairman of the LMI Planning and Advisory Committee, Mr. Dakwa Oyewole. And we essentially set up a team that began putting this vision into practical terms so that we can implement it. The vision of the LMI is essentially to train and equip the next generation of public sector leaders and legislators. One challenge we've seen is that people often find themselves in governance without going through the necessary preparation for office. LMI has been developed to bridge that gap, to serve as the training ground for young people who want to go into the public sector, to prepare them, to build them, to train them to go and succeed in terms of character, competence, and capacity.
All right, so where do you think this is supposed to lead us to? Because some people have said this may look like what Zainab Azali would say, why do you show me a house of gold through an impenetrable mirror? Is it showing us something and not able to achieve it in the end? Do you see them moving from where they are in a mock state to venturing into what it should be?
I believe very strongly that the program has enabled young Nigerians who are passionate about leadership to actually advance their public sector careers or their legislative careers. I can name quite a few examples. In the previous cohort, we had fellows who left the program and actually ran for office in the House of Reps, House of Assembly, and so on. And it was the training that they received through the program that built that confidence in them to believe that this is actually attainable. In this cohort, I believe we will still see them grow and thrive in the public sector. One of the things that we did was to bring young legislators closer to them for sessions on mentorship to be able to inspire them into believing that this is possible, but also to prepare them, to show them what are the pitfalls and how can they surmount them. So without a doubt, the LMI is already seeing results. We've seen people go through the program and advance in their various places of work because of the lectures, the training, and most importantly, the mentorship that this program has provided.
All right, thank you. I'm sure we'll come back to you, but let's find out from the honorable speaker. How did you emerge, and what's your experience so far?
There's no one word for my experience. It's been a lot of things so far. First of all, I'll say the first thing I noticed about LMI getting here was the efficiency of everything, the way everything ran so smoothly, and then it was so well organized that we all just fell in line, and it's been that way, and I know it will continue to be that way. Coming to the campaigns, it was a proper simulation of everything we know that politics is. It's my first time putting myself in this situation. It was really challenging. It tested my limits, and I'm just grateful that I got to experience it. I also enjoyed the support of my colleagues, which made me where I am now. So yeah, I'm thankful.
All right, the majority leader is also here, Honorable Onyedika.
Yes, please.
How is your experience so far?
In all honesty, I would say LMI wasn't, my experience currently at LMI wasn't what I anticipated. I've been privileged to participate in a handful of fellowships and leadership programs, and I felt like, okay, this is probably just going to be another experience, But from my arrival, you could see the intentionality, you could see the amount of efficiency, just like my madam speaker said, and at that first moment, I just needed to, rethink. I needed to change my perspective. And he told me that I wasn't just going to be here for, just having, just like the usual ride and all that. And it has been like a step forward for each day, each session. It's been an improvement. You feel like you've had the best day today, and tomorrow you're like, wow. Just before the program, you saw us discussing about one of the sessions we had, and it's been awesome. And looking forward to the other programs we have. We've skimmed through our programs, and in all honesty, I'm waiting in anticipation.
All right, did you rig this election?
LMI doesn't condone that. It's let me just quickly say this. When we talk about intentional leadership, LMI should be a blueprint of what public sector leadership should be.
Yes.
From the selection point, the engagement with my fellow cohorts, you could just tell that these guys and these men and women are people that have been doing so great. So there wasn't room for any sort of election rigging. You had to do your own part. You had to play your own part. Like, there was serious scrutiny. We had our manifestos. Our fellows in training, my colleagues had to do a proper assessment. So it wasn't just about, I could speak, I was good. They needed to see that leadership quality in it. So there was no such thing as rigging of election, not in LMI, please.
Indeed.
Let me add that we also had political parties, so we had to contest for primaries. Yes. You had to win for primaries before coming out for the main elections. It was brutal.
All right, so tell me about how many are you, and then what's your day-to-day activity?
Okay, so we start off with our fitness exercises at 6:30 a.m., after which you have to go get ready because breakfast is by 8, and you can't be late for breakfast because the bus leaves about 40 minutes after that. Our session starts typically at 9 a.m., and we have sessions till 4 or 5 before we make our way back to the lodge. And sometimes back at the lodge, because we usually have daily tasks, sometimes in groups, sometimes individually. So you have to go back and then work as groups to make sure that your tasks are done before the following day.
All right, but what does this say to you about Nigeria and about your personal dreams?
So really, I'm thankful that I've had a platform like this. Finishing school, and I know a lot of my other friends who we finished school at the same time. The difference is clear for those who have had platforms that have engage them on public sector governance processes, which I have benefited from. That is why clearly hear the way I talk. It is because I've had the experience of being in spaces like this. LMI is just a beautiful example of one of those. So yeah, I think it's amazing that we have individuals in government who see the need to create platforms like this for young people. If not, we'll just be there and the leadership is on one side, the youth are on the other side. We are doing our Twitter thing, and it's just a big rift that we'll never meet. But thank God.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that both of you have spoken beautifully about this program. But let me come to the director. In times past, we've had people describe Nigerian youths as lazy, Nigerian youth as unserious, unemployable. These sets of people, do you think, after building a beautiful program, are they helping you to smile, to say that what you're doing is good?
Certainly. First, I think I should lay the background that the 45 members of the second cohort were selected out of 5,000 applications. So you can imagine that we really got the best of the best. And it's one thing to see all their profiles and their CVs and all of that, but it's another thing to meet them and to interact with them and to hear the quality of questions they ask and to hear the ideas that they put forward. It is quite an experience that really gives hope to know that Nigeria is safe in the hands of the young people that will come out of the LMI and that have already come out of the LMI. And as our Right Honorable Speaker said, this program is a platform to bridge the gap between the leaders who have gone ahead and the leaders of today who are growing in their journey. And the more we continue to bridge that gap, the more we will see them grow, thrive, and lead. You've heard them speak. We didn't rehearse, we didn't prepare them, but they just showed up and showed out, and we're always proud of them.
Yeah, I know that a lot of times we talk about mentorship. Yeah, in your program, is there any room for reverse mentorship? Yeah, I know that some Gen Zs will say, my father taught me to use the old phones. I want to teach him to use an iPhone. Yeah. Is there something our politicians can learn from these young people?
Certainly. There's a lot. I always say that Nigeria and really any nation can only grow with a concerted effort of bringing the wisdom, foresight, experience of the elders, but matching that with the vibrancy, the vitality, the ideas, the youthfulness of young people. And that's no different here. I believe with the program, in fact, even with having a young director, we've seen how we've been able to, as a young team, bring ideas that make the program a bit more dynamic, make the program something that young people can relate to. The same way we have weekly feedback, and every time we have weekly feedback, they also let us know how can we improve things. They bring up ideas that we didn't think about. And so it's a co-creation process that we have going on, where they're sharing ideas with us, and we in turn share that with the leadership of the program. Be it the founder.
How long is this supposed to be, and what do they do afterwards?
So the program is for 3 weeks. It's a 3-week residential program. So they're fully camped, lodged here in Abuja for the entire duration. And the plan is that after the program, they transition into the alumni network. When they get into the alumni network, the work is really just starting, because that's where we expect them to pay it forward. We're not asking them to pay us, but they must pay it forward. And what that means is that we expect them to step down this training in their own organizations, their communities, to engage in projects that impact the society. And really that underscores why not just the founder, Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila, but also the DG of NILDS, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, has given them all the support to let them know that even when they graduate, they will still have their support. They can always call on us and call on them as fathers to mentor to show up and to support them to actually make impact in society.
All right, thank you very much. I'll be back to ask
Sure.
about the connection between that mentorship and reality.
Sure.
But, Honorable Speaker,
Yes, sir.
you have followed a beautiful process to emerge. But what do you think about our elections?
Our elections are a lot of things. There's the aspect to the whole thing where people are doing one thing on Twitter and they forget that you don't win elections on Twitter. Winning elections is grassroots, as I've come to learn this past week. You need to do the groundwork. And I think that's where we get it wrong, because majority of Nigerians, 70% of Nigeria is young people. And many of these young people just think that it's by doing it with their phones. So until we are able to get to the point of understanding that we need to come out, do the work on the ground, only then can we actually see good change.
So you had no posters at one election?
Oh no, I had posters. I had flyers. I met people one-on-one. Some of them asked me what is it I want to do, so I had to be given 1-minute manifestos. Yeah, it was a complete election.
Yeah, do you think it was expensive?
Yes, it was expensive, not monetarily. I lost sleep. My mates were sleeping. I had to stay up, putting up the manifesto in such a way that it would be convincing to them, reaching out to people, So yeah, I had to sacrifice.
Majority leader. Now, I want you to be frank with me. What do you think is wrong with our own general electoral process, and what can we learn from your process?
All right, thank you. First, I think it's our electoral process is not issue based. And there is also a gap in knowledge. She made mention of electoral processes having to be grassroots, and the whole noise. We had a session yesterday with two distinguished young honorables, and Honorable Ibrahim El Rufai said something very profound. He said that young people need to understand that it's not just about making noise, but making strategic noise. It's not just coming online on Twitter, you're tweeting, you're supporting a particular movement. Do you understand electoral processes? Do we understand the laws, you understand, that govern our electoral process? So, and I think that's where LMI comes in. There has to be a lot of information. There has to be a lot of groundwork that to educate the electorates on electioneering, the processes, the right ways to vote, and also groom young persons. We could see the work not too young to run it's doing. We need to start from places like that. So for me, I feel like there has to be proper education of the persons in the grassroots to let them understand, like, these are some of the processes that you have to undergo to be able to achieve success in the election.
So how did you react to the shock? You got to some point, I'm sure, and you said, look, is this what our politicians go through?
Like, oh my God, I didn't do Aluta in school. I have never had to contest for any position. If I ever came out for any position, I always ran unopposed, But for the first time, I had to do this, and I appreciated what it is that they go through. I was like, so this is it. I struggled to eat because sometimes when the food is in front of me, I feel like I'm going to puke, There's a lot of anxiety. Yeah, so I have a better understanding now. I think I'll be more careful going forward with my criticisms because I get it. I really do.
Yeah, but do you have any plans, whether remotely or very elaborate, to really go into politics?
It's classified.
Majority leader.
Of course, that's why we're here. I might not have the full picture yet, and that's where mentorship comes in.
You are old enough to contest. Are you afraid that village people made it?
Someone asked a very pertinent question. He said, how do we go? One of our fellows in trainings, I think it's Honorable Jabir, shout out to him though. He said, how do we go from not too young to run to not too young to win? It's not just about having the interest. There's also a place for the work, you understand? The particular day a child is born is not the day he begins to walk. There's a place for the child to crawl. There's a place for the child to begin to stand. So we're going through the process, and by the time we're done, we'll be more than ready. And trust me, Nigeria is not ready.
Yeah, but do you think people are in politics so they win every time?
Okay, in all honesty, I don't think so. In our climb, a lot of persons, I think politics, there are a lot of personal reasons why people run in politics, and a good number of persons do not actually run just for the necessity to win, but probably the awareness they get from it, the publicity, the connection to give them access and that. So that's what I feel.
All right, we'll take a break now. We still have we still have our guest with us from the LMI, the Legislative Mentorship Initiative, the Honorable Speaker, the Majority Leader, and the Director with us. When I come back, I'll ask our final parting shot and ask them exactly something you wait to hear. Stay with us.
And in their hands lie the future of our nation. That is why the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, currently Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, founded the Legislative Mentorship Initiative, LMI, in 2022, committed to building the next generation of Nigeria's legislators and public sector leaders. Having successfully graduated 73 fellows in 2022, the LMI is delighted to announce the second cohort of the LMI Fellowship, selected from all states of the Federation, plus the FCT. The LMI Residential Fellowship will run from December 4 to December 22, 2023 in Abuja, Nigeria. Announcer, Dapo Oyewole, Chairman, LMI Planning Committee, for the founder, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, CFR. LMI, building future leaders.
We are still here in the studio of Democracy Radio 104.9. I still have with me my guest, the Honorable Speaker of the Second LMI Parliament, Honorable Speaker Benis Abende. Thank you. I also have the Majority Leader, Onyedika Ikebwaku.
Thank you.
And the Director, who's a lawyer and young in that capacity, doing beautifully well, Chimdi Miliaku. Thank you. All right, we heard before they went on that break, very vibrant, very beautiful things, and a lot of things to come. And it was Denzel Washington who said, show me a successful individual and I will show you someone who has real positive influences in his or her life. I know that the former speaker and the current chief of staff to the president has volunteered to be a mentor to all of them, but do we see a real connect between what they are doing and real politicians coming to lead the way?
Yes, I believe a lot of the speakers that have come to speak to them throughout the program have actually extended, let's say, the olive branch or a hand of friendship and mentorship to all the fellows in training. A lot of them have given them their numbers and said, please reach out to me, let's work together on projects. In fact, certain ideas on projects that can be done between some of our facilitators and the fellows have actually come up in the course of conversation. And, we have new initiatives coming out of this initiative, through these sort of collaborations. And of course, I would say that our founder, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, is someone who is really focused on making impact. And so he hasn't set up this program just for setting up sake. The driving force is how can we make impacts in the lives of the fellows? How can we give them an experience that really catalyzes their growth in the political space? And he has made himself available. So they will have even more one-on-one sessions with him where he will share with them the rudiments of public sector leadership, how he got there, what the challenges are, and how they can do better when they get into those offices.
Do you think every politician should be a mentor?
Certainly.
Every politician?
Every politician should take someone under their wing and be able to intentionally show them the ropes. I always say that leadership, especially in a country like Nigeria, and quite frankly anywhere in the world, you don't learn it by textbooks. So you can read all the books, you can learn all the theories, but nothing compares to on-the-ground practice. And that's where the mentorship comes in. if we want young people to lead, then we must allow them to lead, and to allow them in a way that you can sort of oversight them, guide them, show them the way, and also allow them to grow and thrive on their own. So there must be that balance.
Well, there's a message from one of our listeners, and he said I should ask you to differentiate between, or to draw the line between who is a mentor and who is a godfather.
I have a feeling you're that listener. But I'll still go ahead and say that they can be similar in a sense. Godfathers have a bit of negative PR to them, because it seems like they come in and then they make you do things that you shouldn't do. But the truth is that there are few times where people emerge in a political system like Nigeria without the support of mentors, fathers. We don't have to add the God, but we can say fathers or mothers who have supported them, held their hands through the process. We've had so many legislators and public sector leaders come and share their stories through what we call a mentor exchange session throughout the program. And one thing is clear, nobody came there on their own, in the sense that no man is an island, no woman is an island. So I would say, to differentiate, everybody needs someone to pull them up the ladder, and whatever the terminology is, the need remains the same.
All right, thank you very much. Do you have a godfather?
No, not yet. Do you want to be mine?
Okay. What's after this experience? What next? What do we expect from you?
You know,
I know the politics thing is for sure, but what really would you be doing with the experience you get from this?
right. You know, it was John C. Maxwell that said, a leader is someone that's seen the way, walked the way, and shows the way. And for us, this past few days, we've actually seen the way, and we are walking the way. And by the end of the 21 days, it's expected for us to actually show others the way, because of what's used is leadership if you do not replicate it. You understand? So we're going out as ambassadors, and we've had collaborations, we've had reasons to, collaborate with fellows, to come up with initiatives. So it's, for me, I feel like leaving LMI, we are hitting the ground running immediately, and replicating just what we've learned from LMI.
Honorable Speaker, I want you to speak to young Nigerians who still think that they want to run and lead this country. Now, I don't know whether you're planning anyhow. I'm just saying, with the myriad of problems that we're faced with, you still are very positive-minded. Maybe share with us what makes you so positive about this country, about the future of this country, and what young people can learn from your own experience.
Okay, I'll like to start by saying that Nigeria is here. Nigeria is still here. There's been a lot of analysis and all kinds of things I heard growing up that, we'll not pass year 2020, we're going to be divided. But Nigeria is still here. That's the first thing. 2, there are people like me, there are people like Onyedika, there are people like the amazing 43 people downstairs who are doing exceptional things in their rights in different places, changing the narrative of Nigeria. So that alone gives me hope that we have somewhere, we are going somewhere, and it's a very, very different place from where we are today. About the Japa thing, I'm not particularly against Japa, because it would be a lie to say we can't benefit from the experiences and exposure that comes with being in other spaces. We need it. But I would implore everyone who goes to learn what they can and come back home, because we need that knowledge, we need those skills, to build Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take your last word, Majority Leader.
All right, I would just like to build on what my honorable speaker has spoken. I'm a young person, and I believe it would be insincere of me to say that Japa is a wrong thing, but my message to young persons...
Okay, we're just labeling it wrong.
Not necessarily. My message to young people listening is that national interest should be at the forefront of our decisions. You need to have a clear definition of why you're leaving. You understand? And at the end of the day, you're not just leaving, but you're leaving with anticipation to come back. We've seen what Singapore and China did. They immigrated, but they had national interests at the forefront of everything they're doing. So it's okay to leave. And at the same time, not everyone is going to leave. Now, not everyone is going to stay. We still need to breach that, the exposure. We still need other persons to come and tell us what's happening in other climes for us to find a way to incorporate it to what we're doing. So I believe it's the motive that matters most. And in all we're doing, we as young Nigerians, we have to carry Nigeria first.
Any message for the founder of LMI?
I really want to say a very big thank you to our founder, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, CFR. And what I want to say is that it's been a very intentional experience. And by the time we're done with this particular program, we're going to carry his vision as visionaries, and we're going to carry his mission as missionaries. And he's going to look back someday and he'll be proud that he actually started the Legislative Mentorship Initiative.
All right, so our DG, Director.
You've promoted
Let
me.
me
We say amen to that.
Yes, Madam Chimdi.
Yes, please.
You've heard what they said. Is there any support system that can help their dreams? And any last word for people who say, why we didn't know about this? Can we be a part of it? How can we join or something?
Yes. So let me start with the last part, which is we run a very transparent system for applications. Every year we put out our application link, so just follow our social media handles at official LMI on Instagram, Twitter or X, Facebook, LinkedIn. We will always put out a call for applications. Just apply. And if you're competitive enough, you'll be selected.
For that one, you don't need a good father.
You do not, for sure. You just need to put in a good application. And I think in closing, I would just re-emphasize the importance of mentorship. Mentorship, when I say re-emphasizing, I'm saying both for mentors and mentees. As young people who want to excel in the public sector, in any sector, find a mentor or someone that you can actually learn the ropes from. And to mentors or potential mentors, please leave your doors open to young people who need to learn. We're here running the LMI as the operations team and the management team because the founder believed in giving opportunities to young people. Myself and another young lady named Sholakwe Shonuga, who we often call the V8 engine of the LMI, actually were doing a lot of the groundwork that led to this process under the leadership of our then director, now chairman of the advisory committee, Mr. Dapo Oyewole. But that's mentorship. Mentorship is a verb. It's a doing thing.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker,
Yes, sir.
your part in short.
If I'm to talk to youth, please just come out, do something. Do something. Don't sit by the sidelines. The job won't get done from there. There's an article I read that says the revolution will not be tweeted. The change we want to see will not come by sitting on our couches and throwing shades at people. So come out, find mentorship like I'm doing right now. Do something small. It's not in the big things. The change is not in the big things. It's in the building blocks, the day-to-day we do, that then build up to the change we want to see. So yeah, come outside.
All right, thank you very much. As our conversation with the remarkable fellows in training and their director at the Legislative Mentorship Initiative comes to an end, I want to thank and express our gratitude to our guest, Venice Abeku, Honorable Speaker,
Yes.
Onyedika Ikebwaku, the Majority Leader,
Thank you.
and Chimdi Neliaku, the Director, for sharing their valuable perspectives with me. And the insights shared today also serve as a beacon for inspiring leaders in the legislative arena. We hope to extend our appreciation to the initiative for fostering mentorship, bridging generational gaps, and nurturing the future architects of our governance landscape. Let us carry forth with wisdom what they have imparted on us today and continue to build stronger, more collaborative legislative landscape. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Benjamin Ubiru, Ben 200, half human, half amazing. Until next time, I'll stay informed, stay empowered, and stay free.